Hey, I'm Cory Paulson.
And I'm Ronda Paulson. When we were taking our classes to become foster parents, on week 7, they had us take a field trip to a Department of Children's Services. And so we're sitting in this conference room, and it's state-issued furniture, blank walls, no color, no warmth. And the gentleman leading the class said that when a child is removed from their home, they come here. And I just kept looking around that room, and I thought, why would you bring a child here? And so I thought, I bet he's confused. And so I raised my hand and I said, I'm sorry, sir, but when you say a child comes here, like, what do you actually mean? And he said, a little girl slept in this room last night. I couldn't get over how forgotten she must have felt. And God had never forgotten her. I don't know what else was said. I couldn't get it together. And then I heard God say, these are my children. What are you going to do? The caseworker said there's a 9-month-old little boy that needs a home. And we didn't know if Isaiah needed a mom and a dad for a month or 6 months or 2 years, but he needed one. And we could offer that for him.
And he brought so much excitement into the house. And I could see my kids working together and putting him to sleep and reading him stories. And it was so fun to have that kind of energy in the house.
And I feel like God pursued me from that moment on. In January of 2017, I finally said yes. And I remember I just broke down and I said, I don't know what you want me to do, but I will do it.
We start going through the book of Isaiah. It's in the first chapter, in verse 17, where we read the words, defend the cause of the fatherless. It just hit us like a ton of bricks, like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's what we have to do.
Yeah. So in January of 2017, that's when the dream really started to take shape. That's when we started to understand that this dream was an Isaiah 117 house. And that was really the beginning. We opened our first home in 2018. My wish for children on that day of removal, I want them to know that they are loved. We want every part of their visit to an Isaiah 117 house to be basically the exact opposite as if they went to a DCS office, in the fact that everything says you're not in trouble, you are loved. And so from the colors to the fluffy furniture that we choose, to any toy in the house is yours if you want it, everything is about that child. We want them to know that they're worth it, that they are that loved, that they deserve. And we also want them to leave with items they've chosen, items that were their favorite, and items that are now theirs. And we believe there's dignity in that.
They leave with a bag full of a few days worth of clothes and some new shoes and toiletries and things like that that they might need for their own hygiene and things like that, so the foster family doesn't have to run out the next morning.
35 states have reached out, wanting an Isaiah 117 house, 2 countries. We have over 20 expansions. We're in Indiana, Tennessee. We've now entered Georgia, and it just keeps going. And all of it reminds me, first and foremost, how big our God is. There is a foster care crisis happening in this nation, and until God's people stand up, it will continue, because this was always our calling. Isaiah and Eli, I'll look at one of them and say, I'm so thankful that I get to be your mama. And Isaiah 1:19 says, if you are willing and obedient, you will taste the best of the land. And we both believe wholeheartedly that those 2 little boys, our family that's now a party of 6, that is the best of the land. We are getting to experience the best of the land.